Welcome back to part 3 of our Fireplace Makeover series. Hi, I'm Kristen and this is The Broken Masterpiece. If you're new here, my channel started with furniture flipping, but it's evolved into a mix of home DIY projects and Amazon product reviews. If you missed our last video, you can find the link above. We framed and drywalled the fireplace hearth so that we could get to this point, ready to brick and mortar. I found a fantastic video by Home Pro Heroes that I'm linking in the description. He makes layering brick look super easy, and I'm here to show you that while it's not effortless, a beginner can absolutely get it done. And I'm going to show you all the mistakes I made along the way so that you can avoid them. Make sure to watch his video as well because it's really great. The first thing I learned from that video was to measure down the center of the wall and start my first brick in the middle. It's a good idea to find your center line, but I quickly realized that I should have started my brick on the far left and worked my way right. That would have saved me from having to make so many cuts. I also needed to leave a small gap at the bottom for the marble hearth, and I wanted the brick to sit up a bit so I could slide mortar underneath. I grabbed the thinnest scrap wood I could find in my garage and taped it down. This created the perfect guide and was super easy to remove later. We are going to cut the tip. You cut the tip right here. Put your piercing needle here. And jab it in there and open it up. So watch what I do here, but definitely plan your layout first to see what works best for your specific fireplace. First brick's laid. At this point, I was making my first few small cuts on the brick, and that's when I realized my mistake of not starting on the left side. But before we get to mistake number 2, I have to show you the new tool that made all of this possible. I am honestly so impressed with this tool. It was fun to use, super user-friendly, and I know I'll be able to use it for other projects. The tool you'll need is the DeWalt 20-volt max angle grinder, or any angle grinder. This one is cordless, brushless, and has both a paddle switch and a kickback brake. You'll also need the right blades. I got a DeWalt Diamond Blade for masonry dry cutting from Amazon. This tool is well worth the investment as you can just swap out the blades to cut other materials. It cut through the brick like it was nothing. All right, now back to the wall. I initially thought the fireplace insert could just sit on top of the brick to help create a seamless look, but my husband helped me realize a critical point. If the unit sat any farther out, it could potentially lean forward. We wanted all that weight to be on the wood braces that we installed in the previous video. So, we put the fireplace insert into its frame, drew its exact outline, and then measured the brick up to that line. This actually made the project so much easier, and here's why. Okay, hopefully you can hear the laundry going because as a stay-at-home mom, I'm also multitasking. All right, we've gone through some trial and error with this as this is my first time. So I'm showing you guys my mistakes so that you don't have to make them. Looking at where the frame sits, and it kind of needs to sit back. And so what we're gonna do is we put the frame in and then drew where the electric fireplace sits, because we don't want it sitting further out on top of the brick because we want the weight resting back on this. And to move it out further, it just could, I would feel like we need to secure it into the wall back here. So we drew the line around where the frame is, and that's what I'm gonna put the brick right up to, which makes it honestly so much easier because now I took all this off. I don't have to cut little pieces here. I'm literally just gonna put one brick, one brick, one brick, and then the other ones are gonna have one full brick on that side and then a cut piece on this side, and we're just gonna cut it to here. So it's gonna make it easier. I'm gonna do one column at a time so I don't get confused. Let's do this. I got all the bricks. Oh, it's gonna go on this side. And I'm gonna see if this works. While I worked really slow at first and kept moving pieces around just to make sure I got the beginning started right, it got a lot faster as I went. Those little spacer pieces are so great. I linked them below. I got them on Amazon, like a 200 pack, and they were wonderful because you didn't actually have to remove them, only from the sides. They could stay put and then you could mortar on top of them. Only having to cut half a brick And then laying a full brick made the columns on both sides of the fireplace so easy. It was so fun to see it come together. I kept checking every once in a while just to make sure that it was level. All right, it's the next morning. I cannot get these off. Guys, the liquid nails helped so much, and it's just gonna cover the seam. So you can do it with an uneven wall. That's awesome. Like I'm like trying to pull, and there. Liquid nails for the win. I'm so excited. Okay, we got this far on the fireplace. I just kept moving up the wall, and I honestly am going from this side. Like when I got up to here, I'm going from this side to the other. So meaning I'm starting with a whole one, and then a half one, and then a whole one and a half one. At that end, it's not as cut and dry as that, but so far it works good. There is a little line because this wall is uneven where I did have to I kept leveling it and it continued to raise it up a little bit. So I did have to put some extra spacers here. But I think when it's painted and it's all black, it's gonna look fine. It's gonna look fine. It's just gonna be a little, so I'm thinking I'm gonna put a little shim underneath that side to just lift that up a little bit. Here we mounted the bracket, and I'll take this off later to show you, but it's a massive piece of wood and it's so heavy. So I'm gonna leave it on for now while I work on it. But this is the perfect space for a whole row underneath and just a little bit of space, which I'm just gonna put the mortar right in. And so we're gonna finish this row. We're gonna come up here, have some pieces cut here. It's gonna be a little mini row up top, and then we're gonna continue going up, working from the left side over. Above the fireplace, because I needed that row to go straight across, I kept leveling it, but I did have to use 2 spacers. And sometimes the spacers, you can make them lie down to become a little bit shorter. And so play with it and just find out what works for your wall. This is what worked great for mine, and you're gonna see it all seamlessly come together at the end. So you can see what I'm looking at. I turned 2 of them this way, and I put a folded piece of cardboard under here, because that's how I'm just using cardboard from the boxes, and I'm gonna tear it. And I just need just enough to have it not be sitting on the wood. So I'm gonna slide this under, add the next one. To keep them spaced, just gonna slide that right down. And there we go. I was so proud of this little cutout piece that I made. After this, I didn't film the rest of it, but I continued up the wall. It was very easy and seamless once I got the hang of going from left to right and using half a brick and then a full brick. and I was able to tape the wall going up, so I made sure that it was a straight line that I could just pull right down, and I lined the brick up with that line. Next up is mortar. But first, you need to tape off any areas that you don't want mortar getting on. These shots were made possible by my Meta glasses that I wore throughout this project, so make sure you check out those in the link below. I had a little self-care day, but now I'm gonna get dirty again. Always the fun part of the DIYer. I've got my water, my mixer. This thing is like 10 bucks, so don't skimp on this. You need one of them, and they just attach to your drill. $4 bucket from Lowe's. I've got some water, and I've got some of the Grout. I've got two kinds. I've got like a lighter kind and a gray kind. I'm probably just gonna use the gray kind so I can use the light on like more inside projects. Let's get to mixing. Measuring the water to mortar mixture, I added in half the bag and then began mixing, but Home Pro Hero showed me exactly what kind of consistency I wanted, so I'm gonna make that and I'll show you guys, but also check out his video, it's great. This is the consistency right here that I learned that it needs to be. Filling the bag was probably the heaviest part. You step on the tip so that it doesn't come out, and then you need some element of a scooper to scoop it in. I had this little bucket. It was not a good scooper. It just got everywhere, and it was like the messiest thing in the world. And I'm gonna show you how messy this process actually gets. Home Pro here says it's like piping a cake. It's not. That bag is so heavy, so don't fill it as heavy as I fill it right now. Are going to be so done after this. All you had to do was color in the lines, and even that was so hard. One pass and my hands were just cramping. I went step by step. You're also standing on a ladder because with brick and mortar, you do have to start from the top and move down to the bottom. Anything with moisture in it is going to leak downward as gravity is going to pull it. And as the moisture is being sucked out of the bricks and into the mortar and then drying and evaporating, you need to work from top to bottom. And when you start scraping and using the sponge, it's going to drip from top to bottom. Once the brick was laid, it was time to finish the mortar. Once I had piped in as much as I could and it had started to dry at the top, I went back up and I used a steel brick jointer, which I picked up at Lowe's and I will link for you in the description. You use this tool to go over the mortar after it's dried a bit, pressing it into the crevices to make sure everything is filled in and looks neat. You run it horizontally and then vertically along the seams. This was really helpful when you pipe too much on, which I did in many spots. And so I was able to scrape it down, wipe it off on my hand or my excess bucket, and then scrape some more. Y'all, this is an absolute. The Home Pro Hero video I watched did this a lot neater than I did, but I found my secret weapon, a sponge. The sponge, my friends, covers a multitude of sins. After getting the mortar as pressed in as I could with the jointer, I grabbed a ProPlus yellow heavy-duty polyurethane grout sponge and a bucket of water. I wrung out the sponge and then I used it to wipe over the bricks, smoothing out each seam of thin-set mortar. This method worked incredibly well and made the whole wall look seamless. It was much easier than just trying to wipe the excess away with a brush or a broom. Just make sure to work your way from the top all the way down to the bottom. If you like the smudged or dusted look that I ended up with, you can leave some of the excess mortar on top of the brick face. It will dry with that look, and even if it gets wet, it will dry back to that beautiful dusty color. I love how it turned out. After I got everything cleaned up and all the floor pulled up, I ended up doing mortar along that bottom seam all the way from the ground to the bottom of the brick. Now for one more quick tip from my own mistakes and experience. I should have removed the painter's tape as soon as I was done with the mortar, because once it dried the next morning, it was nearly impossible to get off. It was fine on the walls, but especially around the TV box, I had to use my blade and really work at it to get it off. Save yourself the headache and peel off that tape while the mortar is still wet. So fresh and so clean. With the brick wall finished, we got the TV back up so we could see how it looked. I honestly loved the way the gray mortar turned out, so I took a poll on my Instagram to see what you guys thought. Should we leave it the dusty gray color or paint it black like I originally planned? The response was an overwhelming leave it as is, so I went over a few spots with a bit more of the gray thin set mortar and a sponge to even out the color. It's safe to say I'm officially obsessed with how it looks. I kept looking at the marble on the floor and the extra box of leftover brick, and I thought to myself, why not? I knew I could make it work, so I laid out all the pieces to get a feel for the pattern, and this time I worked a little smarter. I did all my left side cuts and then all my right side cuts and all my half brick cuts at the same time. This made the whole process much quicker. But in my rush, I made a mistake. I was working a little carelessly and didn't place another brick on top of the one I was cutting. My finger got way too close to the blade and it got me pretty good. So please learn from my mistakes, always be careful, and never rush your cuts. I also made my mortar a bit too wet this time, and I learned two things from it. First, it takes much longer to dry. Second, it will crack as it starts to set. I had to go back every 30 minutes to check it and smooth it out with my fingers, which was a little bit of a hassle, but it ended up turning out fine. The lesson here is to get the mortar consistency just right from the start. I didn't wait for the liquid nails to dry this time. In about 20 minutes, I had mortar already mixed up and I started filling it in. As you're using your steel jointer, just make sure that you're not moving the bricks around that haven't dried yet. This time I remembered to pull up the painter's tape right away, which was a huge relief. The hardest part was just tidying up the edges, but with a little bit of extra care, it came out perfectly. Okay, I learned that it can be too wet when you're putting it in. I thought it'd be a little bit easier if it was a little bit more moist, but it's starting to crack. But I've just gone over it with my fingers, like that, before it completely dried. That's why you kind of want to watch your projects. And I'm just smoothing it down. Like that crack back in there. I'm just gonna stick my pinky. Smooth it down a little bit. And that's a wrap on our brick hearth. I hope this video showed you that with a little bit of patience and maybe a few mistakes along the way, a beautiful DIY fireplace is totally possible. In this next video, we'll be tackling the mantle and that clever little TV box cover, so you won't want to miss it. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the rest of this series. Let me know in the comments below what you think of our new brick hearth.